Hello there, happy Money Monday, and welcome back to another episode of the Empowered and Abundant podcast. This week, I have a super special guest joining me today, Ashley of Ash Fit Body and Mind. Now, Ashley is actually a former client of mine. She went through the Empowered Abundance program almost over a year ago. She is certified in nutrition, CrossFit, yoga, breathwork, weightlifting, and soon to be a spiritual advisor. Ashley's journey into the holistic and natural healing was due to an autoimmune disease that she was diagnosed with as a child. She was constantly juggling medications and symptoms and learned how to work with her own health, and now works with individuals and groups, empowering them to optimize their lives. And today we have a powerful conversation for you. Ashley's going to be sharing her journey going through Empowered Abundance. What inspired her to say yes to this? What were the challenges she faced? And what were the wins that she had as a result? And then not only going through Empowered Abundance, but the year beyond. What has continued to unfold for her as a result of saying yes to this work basically 18 months ago? This is the podcast episode for you if you're somebody who's been wanting to crush credit card debt, wanting to go all in on your business, wondering if you can really achieve the financial goals you want to achieve. If you're someone who has felt stressed out or overwhelmed by money, this is the episode for you. And I'm so excited to dive in. So, with that, sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode. Hello there, Ashley. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Scarlett. I'm so excited.
I'm
I'm
so
excited
excited.
to talk to you because it's just been a while since I finished Empowered Abundance.
Yeah, it's been, how long has it been? Do you remember when you finished up?
Yeah, it's almost been a full year. I think in March is when we finished last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really exciting timing then. So you were my second group of Empowered Abundance, and I can't believe it's almost been a year since you finished. And I'm really excited for this conversation today because we're going to talk a little bit about what your journey was like going through Empowered Abundance, because I know there's so many curious listeners who are interested to hear, but then I'm especially excited to hear what has happened after the fact in this 12-month since journey, because I know that doing this work is really just like the beginning. It's kind of like shifting the trajectory, maybe a couple inches or a couple feet, but then that trajectory shift just continues for, the rest of your life. So I'm curious to really hear like what has happened for you since. So let's dive right in. Before we get to, what has happened over the past 12 months and since Empowered Abundance, I'd love to dive a little bit into your Empowered Abundance journey for people who are listening. And before we talk about that, like, if you can flash back to over a year and 6 months ago, like what inspired you to do this work in the first place? Why did you even say yes to joining Empowered Abundance?
Gosh, such a good question because there's a lot of layers to it. I was introduced to you from a friend who's out I think she's in the Netherlands actually. She told me to start following you and I did. And I connected with the type of person that you are. Your energy, your beliefs, the way you taught and spoke just really resonated with me. And I was, seeking any financial resources that I could get to improve my knowledge, understanding, relationship with money, the whole kabang. I had I had worked with financial planners before, that sort of thing. And it wasn't, something wasn't registering, something wasn't sinking enough to make change permanent and like see growth, if that makes sense. And I was at a point where I was in a good amount of debt, still in debt, but not, we'll get into that later, not as much. um, and it just made sense to me. Like I believed that everything you said um, really hit all the different elements of what it takes to make change happen. I was, firstly a personal trainer and have done that for years and years. So have seen a lot of patterns and what it takes to get people to change those patterns in the fitness world. Um, so you spoke to a lot of things that just generally made sense to me.
Mm.
And that's what made me say, like, I was afraid of making the investment because I'm like, this is going to be more debt. This is going to, but I was like, but this is, I felt very strongly that this was also the investment that was going to be that leap out of depth. It wasn't putting my money in something else and hoping it would fix it. It was like, this is going to work with where I am and who I am and what my current circumstances are and situations are to help me understand and make the best choices. And that's exactly what it did.
Oh, I love the way that you described that. And it- yeah, I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more. I know it was a while ago now, but like looking back on that time and where you were at with your work, being a personal trainer and just like your money and your financial situation, you could have invested in other things. Like you could have invested in ways to make more money as a personal trainer, ways to make more money like in other areas of your business, or like a million other
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
different things. So like why did you have the thought process and the decision to invest in transforming your relationship with money as opposed to investing in something else to fix the problems?
Oh, such a good question. And like, I feel like for so many people who are on the fence, this is like a key one. Um, because we tend to do that, right? Whatever our specialty is, we're like, I'll just get this certification. I'll just learn this thing and I'll add this on to what I can offer. Well, here's the thing. I had started as a personal trainer, did group fitness, became a yoga instructor, became a master breath certification. Like nutrition was in there too. I was a nutrition coach as well. Um, I mean, Olympic lifting, you name it. I have an assortment of specialties that I can coach people on. Um, and I was also a life coach, also am a life coach. And that's what was the most frustrating point for me is I'm like, I feel like I'm applying all the things. But as a coach, I also know sometimes you need an outside perspective to ask the right questions to get you to see what you're not able to see. You're just not able to. There's nothing wrong with you. You just can't see it on your own. Um, so I would say that was it. I was like, I don't need another certification to make me more valuable as a coach, trainer, whatever you want to call me. Um, I know that there is something that I have been trying year after year over and over with financial advisors, with different business coaches, all sorts of things that isn't sticking. It's not, it's something is missing. And that was really the thing that just made me go, like, this is the investment to make all of that work for me, basically. All of the things that I already have that I'm giving. Um, I knew that this was going to be the I don't want to say the thing because it's not an outside thing. I just knew that there was something within me that I wasn't gonna able to connect to, and everything that you were talking about as the pain points were like spoke so like right to the soul. I'm like, yes, yes. So I knew that there was just something I wasn't able to see myself and needed coaching in an outside perspective to help me. And since you're experience and knowledge in the financial world and also having experience as a coach, I knew it made more sense for me to get results.
Mm. Yeah, and I love the way that you described that because I think especially when it comes to money and entrepreneurship, it's like this obvious solution is to just find ways to make more money, whether that
Hmm.
is with another certification or like different business coaches and strategies. And I think this is really important that you touched upon is those things are valuable. Those
Hmm.
things are worth it, but your relationship with money is foundational. So if you haven't changed your relationship with money and then you're putting on certifications and business strategy on top of that, you're not actually gonna get there. And so, yeah, what I'm really hearing from your story is seeing that you were trying that path, you were hoping that that would help make more money, and because it wasn't, after trying and investing, it's like, okay, let's go back to the basics, let's get to the root core of the challenge, the issue that's showing up, so that all those other things, all those other investments can actually work. Like, so you actually can get the value that you've been putting in these other areas, because now you have a strong foundation to stand on top
Right.
of. So I
Yes.
love that you like emphasized that and highlighted that. And so let's talk a little bit about some of your journey going through empowered abundance. So you made the decision, and I'm just curious, like, what were some of the biggest challenges or obstacles or most difficult, hard things that you just faced going through this program and this work?
Going through empowered abundance. The challenges for that were most obvious was how intense my fear was around spending money, receiving money, asking for money, giving my, like whatever, giving, receiving, any way, shape, or form, even when it was necessities. It was always a bargaining that was happening in my head of like, well, maybe I could do this instead of that. Like there was so much friction and tension around the use of money, and being able to break that down and understand it, and even accepting that some of it I don't necessarily understand, but that's okay. I still need to address it in a way. Um, I would say those are probably, I think the fear piece was the biggest challenge for me to work through in every different level that we, in every different realm that we approached throughout the program.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people feel that way about money, whether it's like the fear of looking at it, the fear of spending it, the fear of receiving it. Like, I think that's really, really common. So then when
Yeah.
well, first of all, like that's just really exhausting, stressful, draining energy to be in, even if it doesn't seem like it. It's just like running in the background all the time, and especially affects your business and your
Yes.
ability to make money. But
Yes.
then to voluntarily say, like, okay, I'm gonna spend 6 months diving into this and like uncovering this and looking at this, that can be like just add the fuel to the fire of that fear and that discomfort. So I'm wondering, do you remember like how you overcame that, how you moved through that fear?
I mean, you said discomfort, and that was definitely a key word. Is like I had to be okay with the discomfort. I had to be okay that it wasn't just this one answer that then, okay, I do this thing and then it's done, that it was a process of sitting in that discomfort, and then asking myself, what tools do I have that I can work with to release that discomfort, and just be here with it because it is what it is. And the only way I'm going to change it is if I accept it.
Mm.
um, and I think, honestly, a lot of your exercises really helped in the process, not just in the courses when we were like present in the meetings. Um, but I would take those to when I was doing my homework, or even when I wasn't doing my homework. Some of the simple things, like if I know, I would notice that it came up more in a daily activity of like, I'm meeting this person for lunch. This was planned. I am going to spend money. Like, of if the fear came up, like focusing on the gratitude of the fact that I'm able to be here with this friend and have lunch, and like um shift the perspective so that I could allow the discomfort, but then also, instead of focusing on the discomfort and letting it contract more, like opening up to allow it and appreciate the good that was in it, started to make that voice quieter and the contraction would release.
Wow. I love the way that you described that. And it's making me think how, like money is one of our deepest layers of personal growth and development because often there is so much like shame or guilt or emotions or fear or
Mhm.
survival and safety. It's all tied into it. So it can really be very stressful or scary or intimidating to imagine diving into it, especially when you have a sticky relationship with money. But I also think that it's like, it's more discomfort in theory than in practice. It's kind of like, yes, it might be uncomfortable, yes, it might be challenging to actually do this work, but once you start doing it, you discover like, oh, actually, it's not that bad. Oh, I can survive this. And then it just gets easier and
Yes.
easier. And in
Yep.
fact, the discomfort in the first place is like a clear metric that is the right place to be focusing on. It's like, yep, this is at the root of all the gunk. And so if I can move through this and like transform and grow and heal through this, like I mean, that just changes everything. It's like you can grow through anything and it's such a catalyst for your future growth too.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I really disliked was looking at my numbers as often as you had us doing. And that was really tough at first. And I would like procrastinate. It was either one or the other. Either it would be like the second we'd hang up one call, I'd be like, let me get the numbers done for next week and like try and do it. Or I'd procrastinate. And God forbid one of my kids walk in while I was looking at my numbers, it would be like, don't talk to me. Like, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is taking over. So it was also the recognition there of like, I have to be happy to look at these numbers. I have to be grateful that I have numbers to look at and I have to accept them. Like, and I'm not there yet, but because I have to do it so often, I was grateful for having that accountability because as much as I'd like to think I would do it on my own, I don't know that I would have pushed through some of those points, right? Um, so having that accountability and again, another recognition of where it was showing up, it made me realize like this is where um, I clearly need to spend more time because it is so uncomfortable and I don't like it so much. And like it's the only way to know what is there and what's happening with what's there, with, where your money's
Mhm.
going, where it's coming from, what the balance is, all of that. So, um, and I have to say, I know you didn't ask this yet, but like, I had like a spreadsheet I was using before I worked with you that I would usually do like once a month. And then we would look at our stuff weekly. And I was like, I am never, ever going to look at my stuff weekly. Like, this is overkill. Well, let me tell you, I have a reminder every 7 days and I do my stuff weekly now. And I actually look forward to it. There are sometimes like on the 6th this month, I was like, oh, I'm going to do my abundance. And I was like, oh, it's only the 6th. I got to wait till tomorrow. Cause I have it like,
Oh my
I do it
gosh.
every 7 days. Um, and it's funny.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's
Wow.
such a polar difference and the detail of what you went into for us that now I look at where before it was like and I didn't know this. I was doing the best I could with what I knew and what I had. Um but it was very surface level what I was looking at monthly before that. So no wonder I was getting so lost.
Wow. Wow. What a like huge difference. And on this same theme, I'm curious to know like what shifted and what were some of the aha moments, the growth points, the transformations, the changes that did happen through doing this work.
Well, I have to say, like, oh, excuse me. I'll go back to the fear because I think it's one a lot of people can probably relate to. And it was the strongest thing that came up for me was the fear and the contraction, right? Um, I'm not going to say it's gone it definitely still comes up and rears its head. But the tools that I have to also like acknowledge it and also let it go and then take an action on it, like
Mm.
I never had that before with money. And like that aha moment of realizing like, and I know that's why you call it empowered abundance, but like that I have power to do something about it. And it doesn't mean that you're going to do the thing then and then the next day everything's fine, because it's just like it's what I tell people in fitness. Just because you work out today, if you don't work out until 3 weeks from now, how do you expect to see a change in your body, right? Like
Mm.
um
Mm-hmm.
it takes consistent small actions. um and I think that like recognition of the small actions and the way we use our money to vote for the life we want, those things were so big for me. So like yes, the fear comes up, yes, I still get worries sometimes, but instead of them taking over and then me carrying that into everything else I show up for as a human, including my business, like I acknowledge it, I take an action step and I let it go, and I have this trust that wasn't there before. There was never a trust with me and money ever.
Wow.
And like that is huge. Um but one of your, I don't remember when this was, but this like when we kind of build our dream life and we envision it, and then talk about how to step into it and you're voting with your dollars, the way you taught that and introduced that, there's so much out there with manifesting and visualizing and blah blah blah. It's all great in perspective, but you have to be able to relate to it and apply it in a realistic and um, physiological way. You need to be able to feel it. And you really
Mm-hmm.
broke that down for us. And, again, it was just a form of empowerment to be able to work with what you have instead of wishing for what you don't have.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, I love the way that you described all of that. I think it's such beautifully said, and like such a testament to the transformation that's possible and how it can show up in little ways and then also in big ways too over time. And especially like I very distinctly remember on those sessions when we were diving into your vision and the life you want to live, and I remember you saying on the call like, yeah, I wrote out this vision, but it just feels like a wish. Like it feels like a wish where that would be nice, but the likelihood of it happening is pretty slim and there's nothing I can really do about it to create it. And that's why I love doing this work, because I'm a strong believer that your money is a tool for manifestation and creation. And when you bring your money into the vision, that's how you can make it tangible and grounded and real and actually make progress towards it. Not just like with the money on paper, like the tangible part of it, but also the energetic part of it. Like, here's how
Mm,
you can believe it to be true so that it's not really like a wish off in the clouds. It's
yes.
like a place, a destination that you're walking towards, and it's on the ground and you're taking steps towards it and bringing it into reality.
Yes. Yeah. So, so true. Um, and like, I'm happy to give an example of one of the ways like it's starting to show up. I have a
Yes,
couple
tell us.
examples actually.
What has happened since Empowered Abundance? I'm so
Um,
excited to hear.
well, I like using this example because it's very small, but I think it's like easy for people to relate to. So, as a trainer, nutrition, health coach, I struggled with autoimmune disease. My diet has always been very important to me, right? Not for reasons I want to look a certain way, but I want to feel good. And so, whole foods is what I always preach to people, right? Organic if you can. But for me, like I something important in my personal life was I also wanted to be able to support local businesses. I eventually would like to have my own garden farm kind of space or be part of one. Um, and I would just be like, I can't buy organic food. It's so expensive. I can't. And then I discovered this small local grocer. The guy comes to my gym, and I went in one day and I was like, whew. I was like, okay, well, I can buy apples. Let me get some apples. Like, and I felt good supporting him, right? He, like, I know where it's going. I also met the guy whose farm the apples were coming from one day. Like,
Cool.
and so it became this like, I may not do all of my grocery shopping here, but I can do some of it. And then I was able to do more and more because what I realized was when I was eating this such high quality food, these pasture raised chickens that, like, you know, that I wasn't eating as much. Like, I wasn't needing as much. I had no more like cravings. I didn't need these little protein bars to supplement my sweet tooth. Like, I was just satiated. So it was like, and this goes into the energy a little bit too of like, where that food was coming from. And I think there was a satisfaction on a spiritual level that I was also, this money I knew was going towards people I could see where the animals were being raised, how the trees were being kept. Like,
Mm.
that's impactful in a way that, like, you can't measure that, right? Like, but I could feel it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now, like, when it went from buying a couple things from him, I mean, I'm there once a week now, and I probably spend half of my grocery money there, at least,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
And then, and other things have come from it. I've met people, there's been other exchanges, like, it's just opened up new a different light. Like, that path has opened up for me now,
Oh my gosh,
you know?
I love this. I love this so much. And it's such an accurate description of abundance because
Mhm.
abundance is so much more than just having a bunch of money. It's about using your money to live the life you want to live and in alignment with your values, in alignment with
Mhm.
your vision. And
Mhm.
often we have this story and this narrative that we can't do it for X, Y, and Z reason. And we just put all of that on money. We're just like, oh no, of course I can't afford organic produce. But it's so interesting because we have a certain amount of money, and with that money we can choose what our priorities are and what our
Yes.
desires are. So you had to make a conscious choice to say, yes, if I'm going to start shopping here, what am I going to adjust accordingly in order to make this happen? And I think a lot of people see this as sacrifice, and I don't want to have to do that, I don't want to have to cut out things. But I think it's actually an honor to have like a limitation and get to choose what you do with every precious dollar. It's the
Yeah.
same with your time. If you had infinite hours in a day, every hour would become meaningless. And that's, I feel like that's why I watch TV, is when I'm just like, I got too much time, I got nothing to do, I'm going to watch TV. But if I have a limited amount of time in my day, I'm going to choose with every hour, like, what is really most important to me. And it
Yeah.
gives value to
Yes.
that time. And so you've been giving value to your money by choosing what's important to you and feeling safe and confident in that decision because you manage your money. You can see, like, yes, I can choose this. Yes, I can handle this. I'm not just like arbitrarily throwing money around. And then that expands and that creates abundance in other areas because you're making that aligned, abundant choice and backing that with your money. So
Yeah.
you're feeling better. It's balancing out financially. You're meeting people. You're supporting a business that you care about. It literally becomes a win 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 scenario where your money benefits, your life benefits, the world benefits. And that's what I'm hearing you
Yes.
describe.
Yeah, and and I just want to also say, like, and it didn't happen overnight. It's not like I was like, okay, there's this local market, I'm going to spend all my money there, and then all of a sudden started 100% shopping there. Like, I started with apples, like, I started with one little thing of produce, and it was like, and then I saw opportunities where I'm like, well, I could also buy their chicken actually, and I want to try it, and it was just like, and I didn't even have to. it wasn't forced, so I didn't have to try so hard. Like it just
Mm.
like organically shifted into like my money goes there, and then I wasn't buying these other things as much. And it was like it self-selected because I was choosing in alignment with my values and my priorities.
Oh, so good. Such a great example. And it's like you can I mean, everybody listening, like, this is it. This is what we talk about in Empowered Abundance. Like, you can take this process and apply it to every area of your life, and you find like it amplifies and it expands your life and your money in so many ways. And I love that it's such like a tangible example, but like this can happen in such bigger ways too. And speaking
Yeah.
of that, like, tell us a little bit more about what else has happened for you over the past year. Like, what have you noticed since the trajectory shift of abundance has occurred?
Well, one of the things that was important to me that was travel too. Um, and financially, my goal was to pay down my debt, which also, by the way, update for you. Um, I am almost $4,000 less in debt than I was when we started, which for me
Oh
is huge.
my
That's really big.
gosh.
My goal was like 2 grand a year, so I almost doubled that. Almost,
Oh
but
my gosh.
yeah.
Wow.
And
How did that
I
happen?
didn't use a credit card for the whole 2025 without intention. Intentionally, I would put something on it. I'd pay it right off if I like to get points or whatever. But
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty
That is
awesome.
incredible. And I distinctly remember in our consultation forever ago, you were like, I've been trying to pay off this debt forever. It never actually goes anywhere. It's just like at the
It
same
never
place.
moved. I would throw big chunks of money on it. And I'm like, it wasn't because I didn't understand how it worked. Like, you taught me
Wow.
so much about debt and being smart, like the smartest way to attack it, which made such a big difference. And then the smart way to use your credit cards. Like,
Wow.
I mean, I feel like we could do a whole second podcast. But
I think we
anyway,
will. Okay. Yes. And then
um,
what else happened?
but so travel was important to me. But this year, in my goal not to use credit cards and, trying to pay down my debt, I was like, travel's not going to happen. Well, a friend of mine, I'm going to try and keep this like as short as possible. In a nutshell, I basically got a free trip to Colorado
Oh my
and
gosh.
to Fort Collins, and it was beautiful. We hiked. I got to spend some really intimate time with one of my dearest friends, and it was just incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah, I mean, I know we're trying to keep our time together at a baseline, so I don't know how deep you want me to go, but like, um, yeah, it was, and I got to go for like a whole week almost.
Oh my gosh. Give us the expedite not expedite, give us the simplified version
Yeah.
of like what
Okay.
do you think created that opportunity to come your way?
I mean, well, it's funny actually. So this friend of mine that I coached her when we first met, I coached her for a little bit. And then we found we just aligned on so many things and we became good friends. And part of her alignment was she lived in Colorado a few years before and was here where I live in, like right outside of Philadelphia, and was not happy, wanted to go back, all this stuff. I'm like, what is keeping you from going? So it was actually kind of my trying to keep her in alignment, where she had an opportunity come up where she could go out there and basically she could also, like, she was house sitting for somebody. It was like a whole thing. So she didn't have to do a whole investment of trying to find somewhere to stay while she was looking for places. So like her stuff aligned, and then because we're aligned, like she was like, you should come out and visit me. And then she has all these points on a credit card, so got basically a free flight. Like she's like, I'll fly
Wow.
you out. And it's alignment, right? It's all like, yes, the tangible, because we're in this world, knowing your numbers, the work, the physical work absolutely matters because you are doing it in service of feeling aligned with your values and being the person that you want to be and living a life you want to live, right? So in a nutshell, basically, I like to think her and I aligned, and I helped her try to stay in pursuit of her dream. And I also got to benefit from it as well. And like,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
I
I
mean,
love this story. It's so, and I've experienced things like this in my life too. It's like so interesting how, and it goes back to these same stories and narratives of like, I can't afford it, or I'm going to have to sacrifice, or I can't really have it all. And I think that's really what we aim for in Empowered Abundance is how to have it all and live your vision now, but within the confines of your current financial situation. And I
mhm.
think there's a delicate balance there where it's like, yeah, you don't have to be a billionaire and just have infinite amount of money in order to live the life you want to live. You can just start to choose that life now with the money that you already have. And when you're living your life from a place of abundance and enoughness and being conscious and intentional with your money, that's when doors open up and opportunities flow and you discover like, wow, actually I can travel and crush my credit card debt. I can eat organic produce and feel full. Like I can pursue my business and like it's so interesting. There's so many ways, so many doors that are available for you, and you just have to learn to see them and
Mm.
be in this space where you can like bring those things into your life. And it starts by your alignment, your abundance, and your relationship with money right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I wouldn't have been able to see all that if I had stayed in that place of fear and contraction because you can't see that
Exactly.
when you're there. Um,
Exactly. Or if you're like, oh, I'm ashamed to accept this free trip. Like, no, I'm not worthy or deserving of
yeah,
receiving that, or or any way that that could
yeah.
show up in your life. Oh my gosh. I am so excited for you. This is literally incredible. I think we're definitely going to have you back to talk more about, yeah, just what else has been unfolding for you and more of the transformation, because I know so many people are going to gain so much value from hearing your journey, hearing your story. And as we start to wrap up today, right now we are enrolling for the next round of Empowered Abundance. I'm wondering, like, what would you say to people who are listening who are in the exact same place that you were a year and a half ago when you were wondering and deciding if this was the next right step for you? So basically, like, what would you say to your past self?
I mean, my past self did it, so I don't feel like I needed more persuading, but like I would probably let her know that like this is the right thing and as long as you commit to it, you're going to like it's going to be that piece that helps you step forward. And I think that's the biggest thing is um because some people aren't ready. They're not ready to face it. They're not ready to do the work because it is hard, it's uncomfortable, it's a little scary. But on the other side of it, there's so much freedom. You have so much power and you learn how to apply it in more than just because I mean, you work with entrepreneurs and coaches, right? So, like, we didn't even talk about my business side of it in this episode, but like, you're going to use it clearly for so much more than the business side of it. Like, I mean, we definitely
Yeah.
should talk about business next time, but like, and how it helped my business. But for the personal, how much it's worth it, it's so, it will impact your life in so many ways. If you feel stuck and you can't figure it out, that like this is the absolute thing that's going to allow you to see it. If you're ready to see it and you're ready to do the work, this will absolutely be the thing that incorporates every revenue of whatever revenue, I didn't even mean to say that, every realm revenue of how money interacts in your life. You'll face it and you'll learn about it and you'll know how you'll be educated in um, how to walk with it and move forward so you don't stay stuck anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And just to highlight too, something really important that I think you said, which is like, it's a decision and it's a choice. And it might be a
Mhm.
scary choice, it might be an uncomfortable choice. That means you're facing the right direction. And
Yeah.
if you commit to it and you say, like, yes, I'm doing this, yes, I'm ready, and yes, I'm going to move forward with this, even if it feels hard, scary, challenging, or uncomfortable or difficult, and you do that, like, you have to get results. You just have to, simply by
Yeah.
making that decision and that commitment alone, because you're making a different choice for yourself. You're making a different choice for your money and for your life, and therefore
Mhm.
you have to get different results. And that is such a decision of power to say, I'm worth it. My life is worth it. I believe that my abundance is possible. I believe that changing my relationship with money is possible, and I'm going to bet my money on it. And that's what creates abundance, is like really making that choice.
Yeah. And I'm going to be very vulnerable and share something because I just think it might help some people. So I said how I decreased my debt in the last calendar year by almost 4 grand, which is big for me. Other people may have bigger debt, so it might not seem like anything. They might be like, I'm doing that every year. Um, for me, that was big. And just to understand, for I want to say probably 3 years before that, my debt was stuck at the same number, and I had a someone give me a loan of $5,000, and I put it all towards the debt, and it didn't go away because I didn't know how to, I wasn't looking at my money the right way. I wasn't. So then I would need to
Mhm.
use the credit cards again, and I didn't know what I was doing. And some people might be like, I'm fine there. It's more the other stuff I'm struggling with. But no matter what, is all I'm saying, energetically, tangibly, Scarlett's going to help you on all of those levels. So whatever, wherever it is that you're stuck, it you will get answers, and you will get tools to move you forward so you can get out of that place.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast, Ashley.
Thank you. You've
Yeah.
changed my life.
I'm so grateful to that Instagram brought us together, and you're like my only one of my few clients that has come from Instagram. So you're really like a
Oh,
miracle
really?
client to me. And thank
Cool.
you for sharing your journey and your story. And like, I know that this is so valuable for so many people to hear, just to see what is possible. So can you please tell us, where can people connect with you, learn more about you, see what you're up to? Because people, Ashley's amazing. You got to check her out.
Oh, thanks, Scarlett. Where am I? So I'm located outside of the Philadelphia area, but I do remote coaching for nutrition, life coaching, all the things. Um, and you can find me on Instagram at AshFitBM. My business is AshFit Body and Mind, and I do have a website as well. I don't know if we can put that in the notes or something like that. But yeah, and I'm my one of my things for this year is being more active on Instagram because I struggle with the good and evil of it, but you just were like the fifth validation, and spirit is telling me that you're like, oh, I found you on Instagram, and like my life has changed from it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah, I
time for me
will.
to get more active on there, I think.
Yeah, so I will put all those links in the show notes, everybody. So they're all down there. And send Ashley a message on Instagram. Tell her what you found valuable from this episode, and that'll entice her to show up on that platform and respond to you.
Yes.
Amazing. Ashley, thank you so
Thanks,
much
Scarlett.
for coming on the show. We're definitely going to have you back because we need to dive into business and, yeah, so much more as well. I know we only got to the tip of the iceberg of your journey. So thank you so much for coming. And everybody listening, thanks so much for tuning in. Again, enrollment is currently open for the next round of Empowered Abundance. So
Do
if
it.
you do it. Ashley says do it.
Do
If
it.
you heard this and you know that this is the next right step for you, that these are the foundations that have been missing, then you can go ahead and book a free consultation with me where I'll support you in making the right decision for you and showing you exactly how Empowered Abundance can support you in your journey and stepping into your next level of abundance. So you can book that consultation with me in the show notes down below, or go to my website, thebizhippie.com/abundance. And with that, have a great rest of your Money Monday, or it's
Yay.
probably not Monday. And I will see you next week.